That's very true as well. And there's one other dark horse name that I'm thinking of, but I want to save that for a second because I want to talk about the other welterweight action on the main card. Robbie Lawler and Bobby Voelker. Robbie Lawler continues to have, refound his spark, I guess is the best way to put it, since coming back to the UFC, taking out Josh Koscheck and now taking out Bobby Voelker in impressive fashion. And with all due respect to Johnny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler may have the best one-shot KO power in the division.
Yeah, he might, especially from all the different limbs. It's not just with Johnny Hendricks. From what we've seen, maybe he does have knockout power in his other limbs, but we've only seen his left hand really knock guys out. With Robbie Lawler, he has knockout power on both his hands, his legs, and his knees. He has flying knee knockouts on his record. So this is a guy that can really do it all. He's 31 years old right now. He's in great shape, down 170. He's obviously extremely motivated. He's making good money in the UFC. He's on the path to a title shot, and I really do believe that Mike Goldberg was right when he called him a dark horse the other night during the broadcast. I agree 100%. I think this guy is the dark horse at 170 because he has so much experience in the UFC. You kind of forget about this guy a little bit. This guy's fought all the best guys at 170 and 185. Like I said, he's on a roll right now. Tons of momentum behind his back. I'm really excited to see what the UFC does with him next because I think that you can pretty much put him with anyone in the top 5, or I should say top 10 actually, of the division right now. And he's a top 5 guy actually. I think that he's kind of earned that fight against a guy like, I guess we'll talk about now, Nick Diaz. I think that the rematch makes a lot of sense. I want to see that fight.
Robbie Lawler, Nick Diaz too. That would be a real treat for us old school fans who remember UFC 47 and what a great fight that was. From an artistic standpoint, I don't know how you could argue against that. Is the timing right for Nick Diaz, though? Is that the kind of fight that will light a fire under Nick Diaz or his representation and get them to sign the dotted line?
No, I think so, man. I think that's because I think Robbie right now, top 10, he's one of the hottest guys in the division. If Nick really wants to, get that rematch with GSP or whatever, fight for the title again, he needs to beat a guy like this. I think it's an extremely exciting fight. I think it's a big money fight. I think I'm trying to think right now. Could it headline a pay-per-view? It's better as a co-headliner probably. I think a co-main event because it's Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz always gets big buys, but I think maybe you put a title fight above it. But I think it's a big fight. I think people would pay to see that fight. I would pay to see that fight. I want to see that fight. The first fight was, it's one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history. Really, when you think about it, one of the greatest one-punch knockouts I've ever seen. I would love to see a rematch. I think Robbie has a great chance of beating Nick in the rematch.